Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Today, I want to go over some of the things that sold in my eBay store over the past week. This isn't everything, but it is some of the more interesting items. This is a exhibit catalog from a show, from an art gallery that happened, I don't know, sometime in the 60s maybe. I'm not sure. I'd have to see if I can see the date on here somewhere. It's probably only about 8 pages. I picked this up at a thrift store. I'm sure it was like $1. And anytime I see a book or a catalog that is not common, I will pick it up because eventually someone will want it. Eventually. And they're thin and they're small and they're easy to store. So I picked this up for $1 and I actually sold it for $60 to an overseas buyer in the UK. The listing itself was for $30, and then they paid an additional $30 in shipping and customs and all that other stuff. I did it through the global shipping program on eBay. I use global shipping instead of international shipping because when you do international shipping, you have to handle all that stuff yourself. Customs, rates. You could probably make better money doing it that way because you could get better rates, but I let eBay handle it. You send it to their like an inventory center in Kentucky, and then they ship it out to the buyer. The next thing I want to show you are some plates. Again, I picked these up at a thrift store. These are heavy-duty diner style plates by Homer Laughlin. They've got the red check on it, red checkerboard pattern. These are discontinued. I know that because I had to look them up. But any diner style dinnerware, mugs, cups, plates, they're not hot sellers, but people like them. And so I probably picked up a number of these at the time. I had 3 left. Somebody bought all 3 of them. I'm just showing you one of them here. And I think they paid about $30 to $40, including shipping. These probably cost about $12 to ship because they're heavy. But, I probably paid $2 a piece for them. $2, $4, $6 for all of them. $12 to ship. That brings you to $18. And they sold for $30 or $40. I'll have to check. I'll put it up on the screen here. So, and here they are all together. 2 of them were already bubble wrapped. And I'll bubble wrap the 3rd one and then wrap them all together. You got to ship this stuff safely and securely because it gets manhandled in transit. So you have to be really careful with that. Okay, here's another item I sold. Again, picked this up at a thrift store. Goodwill, if I recall correctly. It is a Toy Story CD player and stereo. It's already wrapped up. Or Buzz Lightyear. Is he from Toy Story? Buzz Lightyear CD player and AM/FM radio. It's already bubble wrapped. I actually got this, I don't know, I want to say last year because I thought it would sell last Christmas quickly because these do sell if you look online. There might be 7 listed and 7 sold in the last 90 days, so they sell. But for some reason, this one sat, and it sat for a year. But ultimately, I did sell it, about $80 maybe, including shipping. When you pick these things up, you do have to test them. So there's an outlet in the store. No, this doesn't need an outlet, I don't think. Battery. So I put batteries in it when I got it home. Tested it. It worked. Put the CD player in. Tested it. You're taking a bit of a chance when you're buying electronics at a thrift store. If you can test them while you're there, that's a good idea. I know this one guy, watch this one guy on YouTube, the Golden State Picker, and he's got a little toolbox he brings with him, batteries, AC adapters, all kinds of stuff, so that when he's out and about, he can test this stuff. So this got shipped out and received, again, I think about $80. Oh, and I probably paid $15. I'm here in New York City, and the thrift stores are not cheap like they are maybe where you are. Here's another interesting item. This was actually a surprise to me, so I learned something here. I bought a lot of GPS units. from an online auction. I think there were 4 or 5 of them. And again, taking a bit of a risk, or maybe not, because they must have said, I wouldn't have bought them online unless the auction said they were working. So I got them in, and I've sold them all. This is the last one. They all sold for good money, $25, $35, $40 a piece. I probably paid $20 for the whole lot. But what was interesting about this, well, first to learn that GPS are good sellers. So these sold, again, hot is subjective, but they sold. They were relatively quick sellers. But what was also interesting is they also had holders, for your motorcycle or your car. And those also sold separately for good money. $20 a piece, $15 a piece, $25 depending on the brand. And I had 3, 4, 5 of those as well. So all told, I probably made $100 out of that $20 buy, which was nice and surprising. And now I'm going to keep my eye out for GPS units and wholesale lots and things like that to resell. Okay, here's a fun item too. I made a video recently about how to turn $20 into $200 using keychains. You can also do that with a lot of other items, pins, buttons. So I bought this lot of pins from somebody in France, and I look internationally on eBay for things that aren't common here in the States, right? So I was on France's eBay website, and this guy had a whole like a whiteboard full of these pins. They were pinned into it, and there was probably 80 of them. And I took a quick look at it, and I saw that a lot of them were of Total, which is a gas company in France, an oil and gas company. A bunch of them were these like toy characters outside of the Total ones. There were these like cartoon characters, and so I figured those somebody might want. But anyways, I got the lot. Again, I probably didn't pay too much for it. 80 pins, $10, maybe 20 because it was international shipping. I took all the Total oil and gas pins that you see here. There was 24 of them. I put them as a lot on eBay, and I sold them for $24.95 plus shipping, I believe. And I get a big kick out of doing these things because it's fun to research them and figure out what they are, etc. And here we have a pin. Like I mentioned earlier, lots of keys, lots of pins. No, this is not a pin, a button. And lots of buttons is something that I like to pick up. The buttons I've discovered don't sell as fast, or as well, I should say, as the pins and the keychains. The keychains probably sell best, pins next, the buttons sell third best. However, again, you look on eBay for, or maybe you see them at a tag sale, a big bag of pins, you pick them up, and this one had a bunch of New York restaurant and hotel locations as pins. And I live here in New York City, so I really appreciated this. This was an old bar in town, and you can see it's interesting right there that the number PL5-5800 is that what the phone number was before you had to write in the area code? You know what, when everybody knew what the area code was, so then you just typed in the other letters? I'm not sure, but Harry's New York Bar. And it's a great pin. Look at this, right? You guys know that brand Supreme? It's very Supreme-ish, but this is from the 70s or the 80s. It might be dated, I forget. And I think I sold this for about $15. So that probably paid for a lot of pins, and I probably have 40 more to go, They're not all Harry's, they're different kinds, and I've sold other ones in the past too. And again, if it has a person, place, or thing on it, eventually someone will want it. Someone will be typing in their high school, a bar they went to, a place they worked, and the pin will come up, and they'll purchase it. And they're small and easy to store, easy to ship, easy to handle. I love this stuff. And it's easy to photograph, too. You can do it right at your desk. So that's it for what sold this past week. These are just some of the items. If any of this stuff looks interesting or helpful to you, please let me know in the comments. Hit the like button if you appreciated the video. It's hard out here for a new YouTuber, as you know, and I want to try to create videos that are helpful and informative for other people who are doing reselling online. So I hope these things give you ideas, teach you something new. Hit that like button and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Thank you.
I gotta take a break. I wanna play in the rain and take a break. 7-Up, so cool and clear. Yeah, it feels as good as the rain that's out here. Gotta take a break. 7-Up. I wanna play in the rain and take a break. It's so good coming down.
Now you could win a year's worth of free travel on United Airlines, plus $25,000. Look for the 7-Up Play All Day game.
7-Up.
Now, back to our story.
If dinner gets a little too attached to your grill, reach for the ultimate cleaning machine, SOS. Nothing cuts the dirt on grills, white walls, or golf clubs faster. SOS, the ultimate cleaning machine.
You'll get it. Do it one more time. I got it. Fever. We got it too. Fever. Fever? We got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles. Fever. It's that deep fried taste. Fever. It's that crispy crunch. Fever. Wow, now I've got it. Fever. We got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles. Fever. Fever.
I'm sending the Edwards a card to thank them for the dinner and to thank Elizabeth for loaning me a dress. After you spilled wine on me, and her tablecloth, and her rug, and her poodle, Snowflake. And to promise her that you won't try any more magic tricks in their house. Please forgive us. Elaine and Abracadabra.
A Night to Remember deserves a card from Hallmark, the place to go when you care enough to send the very best.